Warhost of Zar is a challenging and engaging campaign that really makes you struggle against one of the best counters against this broken race. If you guys have watched my other videos where I play against the Chaos Dwarves, then you should have a pretty good idea of my general attitude towards them. They wield fortified infantry, surrounded by waves of fodder units, heavy-hitting monsters, and some of the most busted ranged units you've ever fought with or against. Not to mention their three main factions always seem to have at least one of them become a big player in the late game, making them extremely difficult foes to wipe out. When you actually get a chance to play them, it's pretty clear why. They possess some extremely impressive methods to improve both their campaign and units in battle. 3 entirely fleshed out tech trees, the Tower of Zar, and the Hellforge mechanic, all of that on top of the usual stuff such as Lord perks and unit ranks. Not to mention how powerful some of their scarier units are without all of those bonuses. They even have a legendary hero that turns all of their fodder hobgoblin units into some actually menacing foes. Despite this praise, even if you don't really fight other Chaos Dwarves while playing Zhatan, the NPC factions still manage to piss you off by stealing all the good Zar Tower bonuses. Like these boosted development pricks beat you out of all the good shit for no reason other than their stupid AI stat boosts. Ugh! Zhatan himself is a flying anti-large lord who specializes in being very scary and making his enemies run away by causing terror, and has 2 skill traits adding up to a potential -18 leadership debuff just by being near large groups of enemies. He isn't the most impressive combat lord, but the bonuses he provides makes him an exceptional general. Plus he has access to regen, which helps make up for his shortcomings. There are 3 districts in Chaos Dwarf Society: sorcery, military, and industry. Each of the legendary lords represents one of these districts. Seeing as you are the Warhost of Zar, Zhatan represents the military focus, meaning it just makes sense to prioritize military in both the Tower of Zar and the tech tree. Also, to those who have played him before and never realized this, his gold skull necklace isn't actually a necklace and is hanging off of his fangs rather than around his neck. Bit of useless information, just thought it was cool design once I noticed. Speaking of his design, his color scheme is straight out of the old model and artwork, which I actually think is really cool. The early game has you competing with the other Chaos factions for the tiny sliver of land just north of the Great Bastion, and starting out with a Death Shrieker rocket launcher and a blunderbuss unit. Yeah, the first half of this territory is basically a breeze, as the Norscan factions don't have anything strong enough to break through your line of fire. Conquering this part of the map isn't very difficult battle-wise, as Norsca and Chaos warriors are actually really easy to beat, seeing as the majority of their early armies are slow-moving infantry that can be just bogged down and shot. Oh hey look, it's the guys I almost made this video about. Better luck next time, fellas. But once you hit the bastion, prepare to hunker down as you are not going anywhere. Remember before how I said Zhatan pits you against one of the best counters to the Chaos Dwarves? Cathay, for some reason, has one of the largest consistent AI favoritisms I have ever seen out of any other race, especially the Western provinces. An actually crafted Cathayan army does have the units to screw you over, especially after the addition of the Tiger Men. They're now equipped with both capable and fodder flying units, a new stalking infantry type, and an already existing range of impressive gunpowder units. They can definitely give you a hell of a fight. The number of armies these guys will throw at you will put you on the constant defense, making this a constant stalemate between an unstoppable force and an immovable object. But hey, endless war in the East is good for business, and the labor pool will always receive fresh new bodies to break, producing a mixture of raw goods and armaments to help grow the provinces behind the wall. This part of the campaign honestly felt like how the Chaos Dwarves would have wanted the situation anyway. The larger your empire, the harder it would be to manage the lower middle class population, and uprisings would be constant. Seeing how the populations of Chaos Dwarf settlements are people who simply aren't working hard enough to buy their own home, managing control is very important. The sized chunk of land seemed perfect to sustain the fruits of conflict without causing any problems. But something happened in my war with Cathay that changed everything. Before I even made the building chain that allows for the construction of the unit, I leveled up enough to recruit the Regiment of Renown Dreadquake Mortar. Holy shit. I did not realize exactly how much weight this thing carries in auto-resolve. Like at this point, I don't even need to fight anything anymore. Battles that should have been close contests, really, all of a sudden turn into decisive landslides, which is kind of a shame because actually using this thing in battle feels so satisfying. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I win this battle as a close victory, but lose 2 units. I go into my settings, see? Very hard battle difficulty and 0% stat modifier. I turn it all the way up, same result. Also, yes, I do play with 0% stat modifier regularly because I believe that a unit that should win a fight fair and square should win that fight. I like challenging enemy decision making, not bullshit unit buffs. Also, to those who watched my last video, I did leave the minor faction potential on. I finally had the power to push through the bastion and lead an effort to eliminate the northern provinces for good, as per the short campaign objective. But seeing how I was still being bombarded by army after army, I figured the best move was to simply start razing everything instead of trying to take it, which is actually rather useful for the Chaos Dwarves considering they get a large amount of raw materials through razing settlements, because defending this territory was proving to be impossible, especially seeing how the AI would rather push through these razed regions to fight me rather than to try to reclaim any of it, which was proving to be a successful change. And I'm realizing that I probably should have done that from the start instead of going back and forth, but oh well. But by now it was already turn 91, and I bet your first reaction is, why the hell is this guy not moved out of his starting region? He must suck. Short answer, probably. More realistic answer, oh, I'm just idling by, waiting to win it all at the touch of a button. See, the bonus of having rivals that gain development cheats is that when you eventually confederate with them, all of their progress, their armies, and their debt all become yours! I gotta say, after playing them for the first time to make this video, the War Host of Zar is actually a fun and difficult campaign, but only for the reasons that it really should be. I suppose my attitude towards the race overall has softened. Are they still a broken bullshit overpowered faction? Yes, but when you're the one controlling them, that overpoweredness in the late game actually feels really earned and rewarding. And let's be real for a second. At the late stage of a sandbox single-player game, who really cares about game balance anyway? I really like seeing how many people were getting behind choosing the next lord in the comments of the response video. I think moving forward, I'm gonna take the top 2 choices and create a community poll on my channel to decide a proper winner for the next video. It's good for channel engagement and adds a little competition. See you in the next one. Oh, goodbye.